Xiao Yan's display of the three-colored fire lotus drew everyone's attention, and Fei Tian inwardly sighed that this young man was too dangerous. Picking up from where we left off, as Xiao Yan's loud laughter rang out across the horizon, the three-colored fire lotus on his palm transformed into a fiery ray and shot towards Feng Qing'er in the sky. As the fire lotus passed by, the space violently trembled, and a pitch-black spatial crack appeared in the direction of its flight, emitting a darkness that penetrated deep into the soul, inducing a sense of dread. The flight of the fire lotus stirred up the energy between heaven and earth, and the fierce wind whipped up, causing the energy in the world to turn violent. Such a scene left everyone stunned. Such a terrifying power was enough to leave even some powerful experts who had been in the Dozong realm for many years feeling at a loss. Feng Qing'er gazed at the approaching fire lotus in the sky, and her expression changed for the first time. Within the fire lotus, she truly sensed a sense of destruction. Even with her status, she couldn't help but feel a trace of panic. At this moment, she finally realized that it seemed she had underestimated this young man of her age from the very beginning. She had always believed that the reason why Xiao Yan could accomplish shocking feats was solely by relying on external assistance. However, now with the appearance of the fire lotus, she had to quickly increase her regard for Xiao Yan, otherwise it would be she who would suffer in the end. She stared intently at the three-colored fire lotus that sliced through the sky, bringing with it countless violent energies and spatial cracks, and her expression turned solemn. She swiftly waved her hand, and the black light flew back like lightning and penetrated into the massive illusory black phoenix behind her. Under the guidance of the black light, the huge illusory black phoenix became more substantial, emanating a terrifying pressure. Feng Qing'er quickly formed seals and let out a cold shout. With the sound of the shout, the illusory black phoenix behind her seemed to come alive, emitting a phoenix cry. The black light quickly squirmed and condensed into a huge black bell after a moment. This bell was enormous and black, with a winged black phoenix carved on it, and a strong and strange black flame emanated from it. This bell appeared strangely mysterious. Although it was condensed from energy, it seemed more real than a tangible object. The black light flowed on its surface, just like that of a real object. The sudden appearance of the bell elicited exclamations. Seeing that this bell gave an impression of indestructibility, one could imagine how formidable its sturdiness was. Even a full-powered attack from a Dozong expert might not be able to cause it any damage. The Lei Zunzhe, Feng Zunzhe, Jian Zunzhe, and Huang Quan Zunzhe sitting on the seats fixed their gazes on the huge black phoenix bell, their expressions solemn. The black phoenix bell was a Do technique inherited by the heavenly phoenix clan since ancient times, created by a predecessor who had reached the level of Do Sheng. Its defense was extremely powerful and could also launch a powerful sound wave attack, making it extremely formidable. For the heavenly phoenix clan, it was a powerful Do technique. In the same realm, few could break it. Lei Zunzhe said with a faint smile, only the bloodline power of the heavenly phoenix clan can cast the black phoenix bell. Huang Quan Zunzhe, you'd better not be tempted. It's best to stay away from the things of the heavenly phoenix clan. Even the corpses of their clan members will not be touched by others, let alone this precious Do technique. Hearing Lei Zunzhe's words, Huang Quan Zunzhe's expression slightly changed, and then he smiled and said, I wouldn't go that far. The status of the heavenly phoenix clan in the world of magical beasts was like that of the Pill Tower and the Soul Palace in the Central Plains, an aloof existence, and their strength was naturally extremely terrifying. Although the Huang Quan Pavilion was also powerful, there was still a gap compared to them. Although the Black Phoenix Bell was powerful, it was only a superficial aspect and could not be the decisive factor. Feng Zunzhe glanced at the Black Phoenix Bell and said with a faint smile, no one refuted his words this time. Although Feng Qing'er's Black Phoenix Bell was powerful, the power of the strange three-colored Fire Lotus was equally terrifying, especially the trace of destructive power it contained, which made experts like Feng Zunzhe feel a hint of astonishment. Lei Zunzhe and the others knew very well that this confrontation would determine the winner. However, in the current situation, they could not predict who would emerge victorious or defeated. Just as the Black Bell had just solidified, the fiery ray transformed from the Fire Lotus also streaked across the sky. Compared to the massive size of the former, the Fire Lotus was almost insignificant, but despite its small size, the terrifying energy it contained made no one dare to underestimate it. Under the gaze of countless eyes, the Fire Lotus, like a tiny grain of sand, struck the bell with a resolute force. Dang! At the moment of the collision, a thunderous bell sound reverberated, and the surface of the bell burst out with a strong sound wave. The violent fluctuations caused the dark clouds in the sky to churn. Just as the bell sound rang out, a low rumble followed. At the same time, the Fire Lotus exploded. The explosion sound was not loud, but the sudden emergence of the three-colored fire wave surged like an ocean, and the entire sky instantly turned into a sea of flames. The temperature rose rapidly, and some places even caught fire due to the high temperature, and smoke billowed. The fire wave filled the entire sky, making people's hearts tremble. If the sea of fire were lower, perhaps the entire Lei Mountain would be destroyed. The people on Lei Mountain were sweating profusely, and even their dou qi could not completely shield them from the high temperature. Everyone stared in shock at the endless sea of fire in the sky, filled with panic. Now that Xiao Yan was able to display such a terrifying dou technique entirely by his own strength, the shock of the four Zuns grew even stronger. Fei Tian beside Lei Zunzhe was also dumbfounded, and the three-colored strange fire that displayed a prairie fire-like scene in the sky looked extremely solemn on his face. Under the power of the outbreak of the three-colored flame, he deeply felt a life-threatening danger. If he faced such an attack, he might be able to survive, but he would have to pay a huge price. This young man was really too dangerous. Fei Tian took a deep breath, and his expression also turned solemn. Xiao Yan's status in his heart also rose sharply. Countless eyes stared in awe at the sea of fire in the sky. At the center of the sea of fire, the huge black bell stood firm, but on its surface, the black light rippled under the sweep of the fire wave. Lei Zunzhe secretly breathed a sigh of relief. As long as Feng Qing'er could hold on, the competition would end with her victory. However, just as Lei Zunzhe breathed a sigh of relief, a crisp and subtle sound quietly rang out. Lei Zunzhe's hand tightened suddenly, and he slowly raised his head, staring intently at the black bell. Only to see that tiny cracks appeared on the bell and were spreading.